Alysa Liu stood at center ice inside the Milano skating arena as the final competitor among the world's most elite athletes, and delivered something absolutely nobody saw coming. She took a slow breath. And in Olympic figure, skating, those last few seconds before a free skate are usually filled with nerves. You see skaters packing the boards, whispering quiet prayers, or staring straight ahead, trying to block everything out. But when the first beats of her Lady Gaga medley, Edge of Glory, filled the arena, Alysa looked completely at home. There was no ice princess persona, no forced grin, just a 20-year-old with raccoon-streaked hair ready to show the world that the old standards of the sport were officially over. And what came next was a bold statement in motion. She didn't just complete her jumps. She attacked them with sharp, confident precision, shutting down every critic who claimed a 2-year retirement would make her too out of sync for the Olympic spotlight. And when the music rose into its final chorus and she hit her closing pose, the building erupted in a way Milan hadn't witnessed all games long. And when her score finally lit up the Jumbotron, the truth became undeniable. Alysa Liu had done it. She overcame the reigning world champions from Japan. She snapped a 24-year Olympic gold drought for American women. And beyond that, she finished one of the most unlikely full-circle comebacks ever seen at the Winter Olympics. This wasn't only a gold medal for a nation, it was a gold medal for a young woman who once stepped away from everything because she felt like she couldn't even breathe. And to truly grasp how massive that moment was, you have to go back to the 16-year-old who chose to walk away long before she became Milan's fearless queen. Alysa Liu was considered the perfect product of the American skating machine. By 13, she had already rewritten history, becoming the youngest U.S. national champion ever. Her father reportedly poured more than $1 million into her training. Before she even reached her teens, she became the first American woman to land both a triple axel and a quad in the same program. On paper, she was extraordinary. But behind the medals, she felt trapped by the weight of her own accomplishments. Major outlets reported that her early years were shaped by strict, almost robotic expectations of flawlessness. Her life revolved around 5 a.m. wake-ups, online classes, in the backseat of a car, and non-stop training. And by the time she arrived at the Beijing 2022 Olympics, the polished ice princess image was beginning to crack. She later confessed in honest interviews that while the public saw a respectable 6th-place finish, she was silently counting the seconds until she could step away. She openly admitted that deep down, she really didn't love skating anymore. She wasn't chasing a podium in China. She was searching for a way out, believing the sport had taken her childhood and replaced it with score sheets. So only weeks after the 2022 season wrapped up, the 16-year-old sensation shocked everyone by announcing her retirement. She put her skates away, told the skating world she was finished, and stepped into a normal teenage life. Most analysts assumed that chapter was closed, a story of burning out too fast and too young for 2 full years. Alysa Liu stayed off the ice and instead began exploring life beyond competition, enrolling at UCLA as a psychology major, and finally experiencing friendships and everyday moments she had missed for so long. During those years of isolation, she traveled to the base camp of Mount Everest, breathing in the thin Himalayan air instead of the cold, recycled air of an ice rink. And she took road trips with friends who had no idea what a loop or a salchow even was. And throughout that break, she reconnected with her own body, because figure skating has always been obsessed with a narrow traditional image, and Alysa completely turned away from that expectation by dyeing her hair in bold raccoon streaks, getting piercings, and embracing a style that felt more alternative rock than classical ballet, as she finally started living for herself, far removed from judges and score sheets. And as she later shared in interviews, something surprising happened in that stretch of normal life, because she realized she never truly hated skating. She hated the structure surrounding it. And once the pressure faded, she found herself missing the rush of speed and the wind against her face, and the pure adrenaline that only skating could deliver. So in early 2024, she quietly laced up her skates again, just to test whether the joy was still there. And it was but this time she made herself a promise that if she returned, it would be entirely on her own terms, with no one dictating her outfits, her music, or even the way she smiled. And that was the moment the rebel version of Alysa was born, far from bright lights and Olympic expectations. So when she officially announced her comeback for the 2026 season, many in the skating world doubted her because they didn't understand her calm energy, or why she carried anime plush toys to major competitions or laughed after mistakes. Yet what they didn't see was that she finally had something she never truly had growing up, which was a genuine support system. As she built a close friendship with teammates Amber Glenn and Isabel Levito, forming a trio they affectionately called the Blade Angels. And for the first time, she wasn't a lone prodigy carrying national pressure, but part of a sisterhood. And that bond strengthened during the Milano Cortina Games, when the Blade Angels helped lead Team USA to another gold in the team event, where Alysa's skate previewed what was coming in the individual final, because she looked fearless, expressive, and technically sharp. And when her team gold medal accidentally snapped from its ribbon during the celebration, she simply laughed, dented it even more, and joked that she preferred it that way, which perfectly captured her new mindset, because that flawed perfection made her mentally untouchable, while others obsessed over pressure. She treated the Olympics like a performance stage, since she had already faced what many considered failure when she retired at 16 and survived it. And she understood that whether she finished first, third, or last, it wouldn't define her worth. And that awareness gave her a mental advantage no training session could ever create. So in the individual free skate in Milan, she fully embraced that philosophy by choosing a Lady Gaga medley featuring Edge of Glory and Applause, instead of the dramatic orchestral music typically heard in Olympic finals. And strategically, she focused not on the punishing quads that once strained her body, but on clean execution and flow, making every landing smooth, and controlled, earning major bonus points, while her spins were perfectly centered, her footwork complex, and her artistry scores the strongest of her career. Yet what truly set her apart happened in the moments between elements, because she connected with the audience, performing for people rather than performing toward judges, and commentators even noted she looked like she was genuinely enjoying herself, which is rarely said about an Olympic final. And just minutes before skating, while others stood tense in the tunnel, she was casually eating udon and chatting with her coaches about an anime series she loved. And that relaxed confidence became her secret weapon, because she discovered how to pursue excellence without allowing it to consume her identity. So when the final notes echoed through the arena, the outcome felt almost destined, as the once playful comeback story transformed into an Olympic triumph. And with that gold medal, she ended a 24-year drought for American women in individual Olympic figure, skating becoming the first since Sarah Hughes in 2002 to stand atop the podium. And rather than copying the systems of dominant programs, she succeeded by embracing humanity over perfection, proving that longevity, balance, and mental health can be competitive advantages. And her victory sent a powerful message to young skaters that it's okay to step away to build a life outside the rink, and to understand that identity isn't measured by rotations in the air. And although the United States Figure Skating Federation now celebrates her as a hero, she remains grounded, even saying afterward that her favorite part of the night wasn't the medal, but celebrating with friends and grabbing pizza. Because for her, Milan wasn't about the gold around her neck, but about reclaiming control of her own path. As she chose to leave, she chose to return, she chose her music, her style, and her voice, and ultimately the judges chose her too. And as she stood on the podium in Italy watching the American flag rise, she didn't look like a polished machine crafted by years of pressure, but like a young woman who had experienced more in 2 decades than most do in a lifetime, and finally discovered where she truly belonged. And in the end, Alysa Liu didn't just win an Olympic title, she reclaimed her life, proving that the most powerful move in figure skating isn't a quad jump, but the courage to be yourself regardless of expectations. And while the 2026 Games will be remembered for many highlights, the story of the Rebel Queen will stand as the moment that reshaped the sport forever, because Milan became hers, the drought ended, and she finished exactly where she chose to be.